Hey guys, just want to bring you up with a few updates. We're playing more BO7. I know I'm playing what is pretty much a completely dead game, but I'm having fun, that's all that matters. I've been grinding out these prestiges. I'm almost prestige 2. So in this video I'm going to talk about my thoughts from prestige 1 to prestige, all of my prestige 1 time and all of that. And at the same time, wanted to talk about a few, like I said, talk about a few things, let you guys know a few things that's going on, and talk about something I have been seeing a lot of recently in the COD community. That is a problem, or that players are claiming is a problem, but it's a problem for the wrong reasons. So let's dive into that before I get off topic. Let's talk about stick drift. I have played Call of Duty for almost 20 years. I've been playing this game since 2007 when the original COD 4 came out. I never once have experienced any form of stick drift. And I've gone through controllers after controllers. As a teenager, as you do, you get ragey and you break your controller. That happens over, as you grow up and, angst and all that stuff. But I've never had a controller have stick drift. And I always wondered why I never had that issue. But I hear about so many players having stick drift and having it be a constant problem for them. And I think I figured it out. I think I've cracked the code. Because I see videos sit there tell you that, stick drift is due to excessive use of your thumbstick, and it's just wear and tear on the thumbstick. It's not wear and tear on the thumbstick in the sense of just using it causes stick drift. Because like I said, I've played the game for almost 20 years, never once have had stick drift, never once have had any problems with thumbsticks other than the actual plastic part itself has, grown to a point where it can't hold the stick in place. But I've never had a controller give out due to, stick drift or anything like that. I've always had it due to, like, maybe a button, the little rubber part under the button starts responding because it's been pushed down so many times or stuff like that. But the problem with stick drift isn't wear and tear in the sense of usage. It's wear and tear on the sense of abuse. And when I say abuse, I don't mean just clicking the sticks in, spinning the sticks around, stuff like that. I mean in the sense of Timmy Sweatpants. And that's what I'm going to call all of you CDL skins that act like every game is a friggin' tournament. I'm going to call you Timmy Sweatpants. Putting so many inputs in his thumbstick that the thing becomes loose and can't even hold the thumbstick forward in a straight position. That's what happens when you have stick drift. Your controller literally, your sensor gets so loose that it takes every little movement and registers as an input. It registers as an input. And that is what causes stick drift. So when you got players talking about stick drift and how it's this big problem plaguing controllers and controllers need to get their act together, remember that stick drift never used to be a problem when people were making COD 4 videos, when they were making Black Ops 1 videos, when they were making Black Ops 2 videos. It didn't start until around Modern Warfare 3 and Warzone started to become popular that you had more and more people start complaining about stick drift. And that was about the time controllers started getting absolutely abused to hell and back. That's when controllers started getting absolutely abused. And when I mean abused, I don't mean, oh man, I'm pushing my thumbstick a little too hard. I mean, I'm treating this thing like it owes me money kind of abuse. I'm beating this thumbstick like it owes me money. That's what I mean by abuse. Because you guys will try to register 40, 50, 60 inputs at once. And then go, my controller's not working right. Well, no shit. It's drifting because you've abused it so much that the thing can't even respond properly without the sensor having a fucking meltdown. Because when you have your thumbstick is tied to a pin and a sensor. As you move, that sensor gets triggered in XYZ direction, and when that pin starts to move. When you abuse that pin and that sensor to the degree that Timmy Sweatpants abuses that sensor and that pin, micromanaging controls becomes impossible. So when you play like this guy right here, for example, like let's watch this, shall we? This is the guy who in about 3 weeks after launch, I guess that was the wrong guy who killed me, but the guy who literally just slid and did a 360, he's going to be the one in about 3 weeks complaining about stick drift again. He's going to be complaining he's having stick drift. He's going to be complaining that his controller's not working properly. Whereas me, I'm using a Nintendo Switch controller. Crazy thought, if you could believe that, which you should because it's 100% true. I use a Nintendo Switch Pro controller to play Call of Duty, and I've dropped 40-50 kills on the dang thing. So before anybody tells me that it's not an optimal controller, think about that before you say that. Just because I get in the lobby and I don't do well mainly means I'm not focusing on the game, I'm focusing on talking. But when Timmy Sweatpants is out here abusing his thumbstick, it fucks that thumbstick up, and then that thumbstick can't respond properly, it can't move, it sticks, you got button inputs that don't work, you got, stick inputs that don't work, and all these other kinds of problems. Well, guess what, Timmy? You get stick drift. You get problems with your controller, you get your controller not acting properly, and that's kind of where it sits right now on that front. You gotta learn that sweating, yes, is fun to do, but your machine and your hardware cannot handle the amount that you want to do it. If you want to be an incredibly good player and you want to be an incredibly sweaty player, you're gonna have to move to M&K, which means you're going to be at a disadvantage against a controller. You always are going to be, because controllers get aim assist. I have never once fought the argument that controllers are balanced on PC games in the multiplayer scene when they give an aim assist. It's not fair, and I agree with half the PC community. That type of play is not fair, but it's a thing, and you're going to have to live with it. But when you play to the degree that you see this guy playing, your sticks drift, your controller stops responding properly, the cable that keeps your controller connected fucks up. It all just gets messed up in the end, and there's nothing you can do about it because you have abused that cable and that thumbstick and those triggers and everything to such a degree that they break, they give out, they stop responding, they stop working. Me going 21 and 23 in a game, at least my controller works at the end of the day. At least my controller will work at the end of the day. At least my thumbsticks don't drift. At least my controller responds to my inputs. Now, not always, don't get me wrong. A lot of the times my inputs are not registered because I either hit it and it just didn't register or something along those lines. But anyway, another thing I wanted to talk about is just the blatant cheating I've discovered in this game as of recently. Because you guys aren't even trying to hide it anymore. It's so funny to watch when you're running Ghost and anything, so you don't show up on UAVs, you don't show up on the scout pulses, you don't show up to anything, and yet you see me through the wall. I have an example, and I wish I would have recorded it, where a player was playing like this guy right here, and he literally aimed at me through the wall, couldn't register in his brain that he couldn't shoot through it, and tried to shoot me through a wall that he knew that I was behind when I had Ghost and Cold-Blooded on, so nothing could track me. And you're like, well, were you moving? Yes, I was moving, because in this game, if you're using Ghost and not moving, it'll still ping you. But I was moving. Does that not sound a little suspicious to you? You tried to wallbang me through an object that you clearly know, that I clearly know you can't wallbang me through, but obviously you didn't. And it leads to the problems that we've got. I think Ricochet really needs to get its act together right now, because it's not only hurting player numbers, it's decimating player retention. Players are leaving the game because they can't trust it. They can't trust the game anymore. When you play and it seems like hackers are just everywhere, like my win-loss, I have 237 losses due to leaving against sweaty players and cheaters. That's what it is. I have like 43 wins and I don't care. Player retention is damaged because of these things. And if you want to bring your player base back, we need to do something different than Ricochet, because it's not working. It's working in Warzone, but it's not working in multiplayer, and that's the problem. Last thing I want to talk about is my recording schedule. My recording schedule has completely changed. Right now, Modern Warfare 2019 cannot be recorded because the PlayStation controller I had to use for Modern Warfare 2019 and Modern Warfare 3 stuff broke. It finally fell apart. It fell apart and no longer works. So I can't really do anything with Modern Warfare 3 or Modern Warfare 2019. Well, I could probably do 2019. But Modern Warfare 3 is a heavy no-go for now. Because I can't... I physically cannot play COD on a mouse and keyboard. And that's for playing it for almost 20 years with a controller. I can't do it. I've tried. I can't. So I'm not going to. I'm not even going to attempt to try to figure that monstrosity of a control style out. But yeah, guys. So Little Timmy Sweatpants, I don't want to hear you complaining about stick drift anymore when you're the reason you have stick drift. It's very clear because I've seen it thousands of times. Players complaining about stick drift, and then I also see how they play, where they are absolutely abusing the ever-living hell out of their thumbstick and just abusing it to no end. Yeah, of course you're gonna have stick drift at the end. You're abusing your thumbstick. No duh, it's not gonna work as intended when you abuse it the way you abuse it. Well, no duh. So I don't want to hear any more complaints about stick drift from the sweats, because at this point, if you keep making this claim that stick drift is just getting worse and worse, and controller companies need to get their act together, they're going to stop making controllers, and they're going to move everything over to mouse and keyboard, or mouse and keyboard layout, and then a lot of games are not going to survive much longer. Cheaters, Ricochet, you need to do something about it. Activision, whatever, whoever's doing it, you need to do something, because it's becoming worse than ever. And it's not even, people aren't even trying to hide it anymore. It is so blatant, it hurts. Like, I mean, I don't need to play that lobby. This is point proven. But anyway, we're at the end of this video, guys. I will see you all on Tuesday for the recording, because I record Monday through Friday. Saturdays and Sundays are for me to work on grinds like this. So on Tuesday, I'm going to give you my retrospect over the first 2 prestiges, and hopefully we're going to get a competitive mode soon, so some of these sweats can just go away and leave us alone to have some fun, and hopefully that'll bring some players back, because we already know what's going to happen. The sweats will go to competitive, and so will a lot of the cheaters, because the cheaters cannot let their egos go, so they have to go take on the sweats, because their ego won't let anybody have anything to themselves. So I will see you all later, and have a good day. Bye.